Hello and a very warm welcome to my dearest students in today's class. In this class of Learn IR with MCQs, we are going to learn about India-Nepal relations. So before I begin, I would like to inform you about a course that we are going to launch from 19th of June onwards. These will be live classes for your prelims, mains as well as interview. Apart from the study material and the classes, you are supposed to get mentorship, psychological mentorship, along with a mains residential program for those who are going to crack the upcoming UPSC 2024 prelims examination. All these will be made available to you just at rupees 60,000, but if you want to avail it at a discounted rate 29,999, you can use the code PDLive. Alright, so let's begin with the various MCQs that we are going to discuss. Consider the following statements. India and Nepal share a 1200 kilometer long border with each other. 4 Indian states share a border with Nepal. India shares the fourth longest border with Nepal. Okay, so we have to know which of the statements given above is or are correct. How many are correct, not which. So first statement is actually incorrect. It is more than 1700 kilometers and not just 1200 kilometers. Other than that, it is actually 5 Indian states that share a border with India, with the Nepal, and hence India shares actually the fourth longest border with Nepal. That is correct. So first is incorrect, second is incorrect, but third is correct. One statement only will be the correct answer. Let us find out how we can get this. Nepal shares a border with Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, and Sikkim. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if we talk about the other important facets of it, we can say that India shares its largest or longest border with Bangladesh. Nepal stands fourth with 1751 kilometers. This is from the official website only. Now next question. Consider the following statements. We have to see which statement is the explanation of which statement. Other than this, how many statements are correct. India considers the river water flow of the Kali River to be the point of measuring the east and west of Indo-Nepal border. Statement 2. Nepal considers the point of source of the Kali River to measure the east and west of the Kali River. So this is a bone of contention. The dispute with respect to Kala Pani, Limpiadura, Lipu Lake all arises because of the you can say unsettled situation with respect to the border with reference to the Kali River. I have covered this many times, so I hope you can answer this question well. So both the statements are correct and statement 1 is the correct explanation of statement 2. Both the statements are correct and statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1. Both the statements are correct and both the statements are incorrect without any relationship. If we talk about the issues, it is with respect to the Treaty of Sugoli, which was signed in 1816 between British East India Company and Nepal. Back then, it was the Nepalese king who signed it. Because of the Article 5, we can understand that Nepal lost its right to the west of the river Kali. That means most of the area. In the west region, they lost the Garhwal region. In the east, they lost Sikkim. But it wasn't ever settled that the point of source of the Kali River will be taken up as the measuring point or the flow of the Kali River. Nepal says that we should take the basic point should be near Limpiadura. Okay, when near Limpiadura, supposedly it is here, when near Limpiadura, the source of the Kali River is like this, and Nepal wants to see that it should be this particular point from where we can measure the west and the east of the river. But India says that near the Kala Pani region, the Kali River actually gets its name. And from there, from the flow of the river and not the point of the river, we are going to measure east and west. So this is the entire issue. Other than that, Susta village in the West Champaran district of Bihar. This is also one of the most disputed regions between India and Nepal. So although both the statements are correct, but they are not explaining anything. So as in of each other. So both the statements are correct will be the correct answer. That is option C. Consider the following statements with respect to the Indo-Nepal Treaty of Peace and Friendship 1950. Article 2 states that both the governments should inform each other of any serious friction or misunderstanding with any neighboring state. Okay, likely to cause any breach in the friendly relationship subsisting between the two governments. In simple terms, if Nepal or India have a problem with any of the neighboring states and that can cause an issue between India and Nepal, that should be told to each other. Next, Article 6 and 7 stipulate India and Nepal will give the same privileges of economic activity, employment, resident and ownership of property to each other's national in their territory. These two actually are correct. And these two have been the most controversial of the articles. Even Nepal has sought many revisions of this article. See, let's see what happens. Both the statements are actually correct. Both 1 and 2 are correct. So let us see what is the crux behind it, the treaty. The Indo-Nepal Treaty of Peace and Friendship was signed in 1950. And this talks about the reciprocal treatment. That means if you are going to treat me well, I am going to treat you equally well. Reciprocal treatment of Indian and Nepali citizens and in the two countries in residence, property, business and movement. So this is showing the relationship that India has with Nepal. We have a relationship with Nepal of bread and daughter. It also establishes national treatment for both Indian and Nepalese business. For supposedly if I say that if goods are imported from Nepal, they are not treated as Nepalese goods, they will be treated as domestic goods only. Alright, so this is a huge thing for both the countries. As I already told you, this article stands true of friction between any neighbors, and Article 6 and 7 also stands equally true. Moving ahead, consider the following statements. Nepal is India's 5th largest export destination. India remains Nepal's largest trade partner, and Indian firms account for more than 33% of the total FDI stocks in Nepal. See, first statement is incorrect because Nepal is India's 11th largest export destination. Okay, India remains Nepal's largest trade partner. This is definitely correct. And Indian firms actually account for more than 33% of the total FDI stock in Nepal. This is definitely correct. See, time and again, Nepal has tried to escape this economic dependence on India because economic dependence lead to other sorts of dependence as well. And this is economic, this concept is known as whenever a country becomes dependent on any other country with respect to their economics and trade, it is known as economic neo-imperialism. So Nepal has tried time and again to escape that with the help of China, but that has always remained a bone of contention between India and Nepal. So first statement, as we saw, it is not correct. Second statement is correct. Third is also correct. So two statements only will be the correct answer. Now let us see the explanation. India remains Nepal's largest trade partner. If we talk about the bilateral trade, it crossed $7 billion in fiscal year 2019-2020. India's exports to Nepal has grown over 8 times in the last 10 years, and exports from Nepal has almost also doubled. Nepal is India's 11th largest export destination. In 2014, it was 28th. Alright. And in fiscal year 2021-22, it constituted 2.34% of India's exports. What kind of items are exported? Exports from India constitute almost 22% of the Nepal's GDP. Petroleum products, iron and steel, cereal, we all export this to Nepal. Vehicle and parts, machinery parts, Nepal's major item of exports. That means what Nepal gives to us: soya bean oil, spices, jute fiber products, synthetic yarn, as well as tea. India and Nepal also conducted or concluded a memorandum of understanding for long-term supply of urea and DAP fertilizers from India to Nepal under the government-to-government arrangement on 28 February 2022. Indian firms are also among the largest investors in Nepal. 33% of the total FDI is up from India. It is worth $500 million. There are about 115 Indian ventures in Nepal that are in manufacturing, services, that is in banking, insurance, dry port, education and telecom, power sector and tourism industry as well. And the bilateral remittance flow, that means what our nationals are sending from there as earning and what Nepalese nationals are sending to Nepal from India. It is estimated at approximately $3 billion from Nepal to India and $1 billion from India to Nepal. Which of the following pairs of cities are not a part of the sister city arrangement between India and Nepal? Pushkar, Biratnagar, Kathmandu, Varanasi, Lumbini, Bodh Gaya, Janakpur, Ayodhya. The correct answer to this question, as we have to select the not ones, these three are a part of the sister city arrangement, but not this one, Pushkar and Biratnagar. Okay, option A is correct. India and Nepal are extending visa-free entry in the respective territories to each other's national porous border. Nearly 8 million Nepalese citizens actually live and work in India, and around 6 lakh Indians reside in Nepal, and India accounts for 30% of the foreign tourists in Nepal. Sister city agreements consist of Kathmandu and Varanasi. Lumbini, Bodh Gaya should be connected together, and Janakpur, Ayodhya. We are also talking about Ramayana circuit with Nepal, because it is one of our cultural ground pillars. Exercise Surya Kiran is a defense exercise between India and Bhutan, India Japan, India Nepal, India Sri Lanka. The correct answer is option C, that is India and Nepal. It is an annual exercise between India and Nepal to enhance interoperability. That means operation together with Nepal. India's operation capacities together with Nepal in jungle warfare and counter-terrorism operation in the mountainous terrain, because that is a very different from plain terrain. And HADR under the UN mandate. So if you want to get the PDF of this, you can contact me on Telegram, Pooja Dwivedi StudyIQ UPSC. If you want to talk about UPSC and get your doubts cleared, you can talk to me on Instagram as well. Thank you so much for watching.